Hey guys, it's Slave to the Games, and we're here with part 7 or episode 7 of Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. Thank you guys for stopping by. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, or follow, depending on the platform you're watching this on. And as with the other episodes and parts, if you want to go and join the Discord, you can with the link below. And if you want to join the Patreon and become a member or just donate to help out, obviously completely optional, you don't have to do it. You'll show up here and also in the description below, as well as having your own Discord role, so that when people look at your name in the Discord, they could tell that you're part of a Patreon member. There's different tiers to it, so it's really up to you if you want to do it at all. Of course, you can completely skip that and then just choose to leave a like on this video to show that you're still supporting me just as much. Now, the last one, what were we doing? I know I want to do the Stalker one. Definitely want to do that. Yeah, I'm gonna do the Stalker. Let's do the Stalker. Visiting Elysium with Sophie is always a humbling experience. She's connected, well-known, important. You're a nobody. You've always known this, of course, but it's especially apparent when you arrive with her. Everyone notices her and drinks it in like it's her birthright. That's Adelaide Davis. Let's go say hello. Oh god, what if she kills her? You spot the woman Sophie is referring to, Adelaide, your stalker. Intense, disheveled, young-looking, Malkavian, if you've understood correctly. As you approach, Adelaide smiles at you with a darting look of distaste towards Sophie. Don't worry, I don't judge people based on the company they keep. That's sweet of you, darling. Let me say this straight. You can't keep doing what you've been doing. You have to leave my poor ward alone. Adelaide looks from Sophie to you and giggles. The sound must be rare in Elysium because it makes people glance toward you. I know she's making you do this. Don't worry, we'll be together again later. Now, my question is, her picture, does she have blood on her while she's there, or is that makeup smeared? I'm pretty sure it's blood, but if she does have blood, is that just always on her? See, I don't want to upset Sophie, but I want a vampire relationship. Man, this makes me sad. Man. Sophie gonna kill me? This game you play is too much for me. Let's go on a normal date next time. Sophie turns slowly to look at you, not as disapprovingly as you expected. Perhaps she thinks you're playing a social game, like kindred often do. Oh, I'm sorry. Adelaide looks serious, as if you'd force her out of her comfort zone. I admit playing games is easier for me, but I appreciate it. Let's go on a date some night. Adelaide smiles at you shyly and walks away. Sophie waits a moment before speaking. I hope you know what you're doing. Let me know how it goes. I suppose this will be good for a laugh in these tedious times. You're fairly certain that you accomplished your goal of getting Adelaide to stop harassing you with strange surprises. Whether she'll hold you to the date, only time will tell. I don't know. Makes me a little bit sad. I feel forced. I didn't want to do that, but I didn't want to die. I want to keep my options open. I don't want to help, like, straight up help Sophie right now, because I don't know what she's got planned for me, and I feel like she'd just try to kill me. Now, I can't do this because I don't have enough time to complete all these side quests, and I'm not going to continue this because I don't think I can. See, I don't know what I want to do, because I could try one of these side quests, and I don't know how, like, if I'll be able to do it or not. But, and I can continue the... What are they? Not side quest, quarter request, we'll call them that. For the Nosferatu. But the thing is here is I don't think I'll be able to do all three. And then the other side quest. So can I just sleep? Nope. Okay. Guess we're just okay, we'll try to help Sophie. I don't know, whatever helps me from dying. There's a sleazy reporter from a gossip magazine sniffing around Sophie's haven. She could use your help with the problem. The streetlights filter into the apartment in a stark white glow, as if someone were shooting a movie outside. The art pieces display a tasteful expense entirely fitting the image you have of Sophie. Feels as if 1,000 sins have been committed on these premises, most of them under her benevolent hospitality. Sophie comes to greet you as you enter the living room, shaking her head. You understand that people judge me based on how you dress, don't you? Sophie looks at your clothes as if resigned to your sartorial limitations. I've tried to dress inconspicuously because of the masquerade. That's very sensible of you. I suppose I should commend you for that. Sophia walks into the window and looks out, the streetlights playing on her features. She reminds you of a queen contemplating the unfortunate limitations of her subjects. You'd think that as a vampire, at least we wouldn't have to worry about the vultures of the press. Unfortunately, when you have power and ability, there are always parasites trying to feed on you. Is there a reporter after you? Yes, a terrible, persistent creature. Sophie steps away from the window and settles down on a sofa. A wine glass with red liquid in it, blood, treated as not to spoil. You become good at noticing the scent. Even from a distance, she doesn't offer you any as you cautiously sit down across from her. This awful man has been stalking my apartment with a camera. He's gone through my trash, talked to the neighbors. Please be a dear and explain to him that there's nothing for him here. Is this about the masquerade? That's a big deal for us, right? Indeed. You're learning. This must have happened often. How do you usually deal with it? Everyone has their own way. Sometimes the problem goes away with a bit of money or sharp words. Other times you need something more. Do you know anything about this reporter? Man, woman, young, old, anything like that? All gossip reporters look the same to me. Time for you to go. I have business to attend to. You leave the apartment as Sophie disappears into another room. You don't have a clear idea of the game she plays with the city's mortal and immortal power structures, but she always seems to be making a move. Outside on the street, there's a slight warm drizzle, the kind that gets under your clothes and makes you want to take a shower when you get back to your own haven. No reporters immediately jump out to you. Hey, what's up, Matthew? For a while, it feels like nothing is happening. In the New York night, people are walking past you, on their way to whatever nightlife diversions help them forget their sordid lives. As you contemplate going back inside and telling Sophie you're not looking for a new career as a lookout, you suddenly notice the lens of a camera pointed at you across the street. Hey! You yell and run across the street. It's a man you're sure you've seen somewhere before. Round town, pasty, someone who spent too much time in badly ventilated rooms stained with cigarette smoke. You enter an alley, a dark, dingy place between two tall buildings. Once upon a time, a place like this might have worried you, made you think of muggings and violence. Now it's clear that the most dangerous thing here is you. The man you are following seems to realize this too. He holds his camera in front of him like a shield, his heavy objective resting on his paunch. At the start, you recognize him. You remember the face, the shaded sunglasses from a picture next to a byline and some trashy paper you were reading to kill time. Something about celebrities, scandal, sex. Oh yeah, congratulations. His name is Frank Daughtery. You saw him on the street one time with a camera outside a nightclub, probably waiting for some important to come out so he could take care of their picture. Hey, don't go around scaring people like that. You're Frank Daughtery. I recognize you from that thing. You're a fake reporter, right? I'm a real reporter, damn it. A lot of scoops here in this dirty alley. You can't be a journalist if you're not willing to get your hands dirty. You live here? I'm working on a story about a local resident. Her name is Sophie Langley. Everybody knows her in high society circles. She's a redhead, pretty as a picture, and there were a lot of pictures of her through the years. That's the thing. In fact, look at this. Frank pulls out his phone and starts showing you pictures. Some have been downloaded from news sites, while others are photos from the society pages of newspapers from past decades. All show Sophie. She has different clothes, hairstyles, makeup, names, but the face remains the same. That's strange. So what do you think is going on? Beats me. That's what I'm here to find out. You must have a theory about what's going on. I have a theory or two, but before I print my theory, I need facts to back it up. 3 words. Extreme plastic surgery. All the celebrities do it. Only her doctor's better than the rest. You look critically at the photos on Frank's phone. You're thinking the world's best plastic surgeon is working out of this alley? Okay, fine. I don't know what this is about. So how would you explain it? Have you considered the possibility that those pictures are a hoax? Sure, anything can be a hoax, but I dug up those old papers from the archives myself. Gotta have something usable. You look Frank in the eyes. They're red behind his shaded glasses. Veins popped from years of neglecting his body. Suddenly he seems soft, easy to manipulate. His will nothing but plaster crumbling under your boot. Go home and destroy your research on Sophie Langley. As your vampiric gaze takes over Frank's mind, he feels less than a person and more like an automaton. A machine you can program. Perhaps this is why older vampires are said to think of humans as nothing but animals. How can you consider someone a thinking person with free will when you can override them at any moment? Frank is mumbling, fondling his camera, inching around you to the entrance of the alley. He looks sad and worn as he goes. A man who used to be something, now just a shell. It feels almost embarrassing to use the powers of your blood on someone so weak. At least you're pretty sure he'll stay away. Aw, poor guy. Sorry, got to protect myself though. Oh, I need rest. Sweet. Let's hope I can see Tamika now. Sophie requests your presence tonight. And it seems urgent. You find her already waiting for you and clearly pondering something. It takes a few minutes of awkward silence before she speaks. Require your assistance, Seth. There's a matter of great importance that I need to ask you to resolve for me. You'll find what I'm about to say surprising, I'm sure, but I need you to hear me out. I need you to contact an important anarch figure in New York City and arrange a meeting for us. That meeting, it's a trap, right? You need me to set it up so you can deal a blow to them? No, not immediately anyway. I intend to meet with them in good faith. I realize how ridiculous that may sound to you. You'll find that with this, as with many other things, the Camarillah's policies have more than their share of hypocrisy inherent in them. It comes hand in hand with using medieval power structures. What we are forbidden to do, the prince may do willingly. Some of these things can be done in the open, while others are kept secret as to not invite discord and discontent. I need to contact a man named Torque. He's an influential member of the movement, and like most of them, very suspicious of the Camarillah. So I'm sending you to extend my invitation. How do I know he'll even talk to me? He won't. Not yet, anyway. You need to start further down the chain, with the right story to spin. From my limited sources adjacent to the movement, I've gathered that your best chance to speak to Torque is to first meet with his right-hand woman, Mia. She's a regular at a club called the Leech Pit. I think it would be best if you presented yourself as an anarch hopeful, a fledgling looking for a place of belonging. Only after you talk to Torque directly should you mention my name and the meeting. Yeah, that makes sense. If I open with, I'm with the Camarillah, they might cut me off. We could reveal our cards once I have his attention. My thoughts exactly. After tonight, I suggest that we do not speak of this again until you arrange the meeting. There are many who would jump at the chance to use this against us. With Kaiser, you've proven you can get the job done, even if it requires additional legwork. I trust you to deal with this task as quickly and covertly as possible. Forgive me, but that's all the time I can spare tonight. What I'm asking of you is just part of a bigger whole. Trust me, it'll be worth it. Okay, I'll do my best. I know you will. Check with Gregory for the address of the Leech Pit. Have Mia introduce you to Torque. When she does, tell him I wish to meet. Let him pick the time and place, but let it be soon. If he proves too guarded, tell him I have something that will help him gather allies against Boss Callahan. That should pique his interest. Good luck, and obviously not a word about this to anyone else. Not even any new friends you might have made in recent nights. This stays between us. The way she says that final sentence suggests a not-so-veiled threat, but her warm smile belies that impression. You want her to keep trusting you. You wouldn't want to disappoint her. Gregory gives you the address. The club is in Brooklyn. Apparently it's some kind of heavy metal bar with a dedicated concert space. Time to pay this Mia a visit. The place is teeming with people tonight. You arrive in the middle of a concert. The music is loud, almost deafening, and it takes you a while to get used to it. You recognize a phrase or two of the lyrics, and realize that you know the song they're playing. A poster confirms your suspicion. It's a Life of Agony tribute band, and they're not half bad. A group of a few around the club. There are a few side rooms and a spacious bar area. You listen in on conversations taking place with voices hoarse from shouting, walk in on a particularly sloppy threesome in the bathroom, and eventually hit the dance floor for a better feel of the place. As the concert comes to an end, you witness one of the guests, a feisty-looking girl get into a scuffle with a much larger drunk guy. He doesn't seem to appreciate him reaching around her waist, slapping him with an audible crack that sends him to the ground, unconscious. Two bouncers break up the crowd and pick up the drunk to carry him outside. Without so much as questioning the woman, you get an inkling that she might be who you were hoping to find. You approach her as she's about to leave. Yeah, the fuck do you want? She's still seething and bares her teeth for just a moment, but you've learned what to look for in kindred. You're pretty sure she's one of you. I'm kinda new to this whole being dead thing. Care introducing me to the way that you anarchs handle it? Ugh, seriously? That's the best line you came up with? She doesn't smile, but she doesn't hit you either. Follow me behind the bar. She leads you through the bar to a back door that leads you into a side room. Indie metal band posters are plastered on every wall, some of them 20 or more years old, judging from the tour dates. An old stick table and some rickety chairs are the only piece of furniture here. Sit down. I think I'm comfortable standing, thanks. She shrugs her shoulders. Suit yourself. She leans against one of the walls. The name's Mia. I'm guessing your visit here isn't a happy coincidence. I don't know you, so you're either new in New York or kept an outstandingly low profile. Both sound suspect. So before we take these pleasantries further, answer me this. Who do you run with? I'm independent. I don't bow to anyone. Isn't that adorable? Listen, fledgling, you don't get to be this fresh in the game and not pick a side. Those Second Inquisition fucks are all too happy to pick on delusional kids like you. So are the cams? They offer you rewards aplenty for your servitude, but never actually deliver. Fortunately for you, there's another option. But before I get to that, let's get one thing out of the way. She leans in. If this is some clever ploy to oust me from my domain, or if you're just here to spy on me in the movement, I'll make sure that you don't enjoy undeath much longer. Got it? You can tell it's a purely rhetorical question. Right, here's the pitch. Camarilla like to think they're the vanilla option, what with Prince Bitch Panhard pretending that they were always in charge. But New York has never been a fully cammy city. They might have won the city in '99, but cams have had their asses handed to them many times over the years, and the movement has been here at least as long as they have. Hell, I moved to New York City before World War II, and that was a good while after I saw the Camarilla for what they are. A way to keep us all subservient and in line. The Ivory Tower will tell you they're the only safeguard for the traditions. That's kind of the problem. There's only one tradition we in the movement feel should be respected. The Masquerade, obviously. Everything else, ask the Prince, and she'll tell you it's the logical continuation of the Masquerade. But really, it's just a way to keep the elders powerful and in control. She grimaces. But here's the thing. For all the talk of us bloodsuckers being solitary creatures, we need a community to keep up with the Masquerade. Community, yes, but authority? Not so much. We need a council of peers to keep the assholes and power-drunk fledglings in check. But not a feudal prince to tell you where to feed or who to hunt down when they step on her toes. She takes a brief break from her indignant rant. That sounds too good to be true. Mia bares her teeth in a predatory smile. You better believe it. Sure, we still have to struggle with the urges of our kind, but it's safer and more fair. We're as free as our condition permits, but unlike Autarchus, we don't stand alone. Normally, a guy by the name of Callahan has been overseeing the movement's agenda in New York City for the past few decades. Most follow his lead. You make it sound like it's most, but not you. Yeah, not me. If you're concerned about being well received in this city, you might need to go through Callahan. But if you're serious about the Anarch cause itself, he's not your guy. Callahan eats up fledglings like you and shits out self-preservation. His position as Baron is mighty shaky now, not least due to the fact he's backstabbed more than his share of allies. So he's doing what any other old fart in a position of power would do. He's doubling down, negotiations are out, intimidation is in, tightening ranks as a precaution against the Second Inquisition. She surprises you by hacking and spitting on the ground in disgust. If you spent some time with the Cams, that should sound very familiar to you. He's no better than Panhard, and her cronies are at this point. No, you need to contact Torque. And wouldn't you know it? It's your lucky night, because I'm the lick to do it through. How is he different from Callahan? Motherfucker, you're really asking for it. Her anger flares up again. I'll pretend that was just a naive question and not a half-assed jab. Torque is a leader, a local baron who's overseeing a small domain, but doing a very good job of it. Callahan knows this, so he's giving him shit. Torque is taking it like a champ. He's smart like that. For one of us rebels, he's got the patience of a saint. Makes you think back to how things used to be way back when, if the stories are hard to believe, or are to be believed. Anyway, you want to meet him, I'm gonna require a show of goodwill first. That's fair. What do you have in mind? She flashes you a mischievous half smile. I appreciate your readiness, but I don't have the details just now. Ask for me at the bar when you're able. I'll leave something for you and we'll take it from there. Now come on, I gotta go. She walks you out of the bar and you go your separate ways. Seems like there's nothing more to do than return here later and see if Mia really can help you contact Torque. Oh, look, the reporter. Taking care of Frank Daughtry, but apparently there's someone still staking out Sophie's apartment. He's not that stupid, is he? The weather is cold and windy as you walk to Sophie's apartment. As a vampire, that doesn't matter anymore. You may have been saddled with eternal hunger, but at least you can ignore the wind chill. Just as you come to the door of Sophie's building, she storms out, murmuring into her phone. Yes, I know. Don't worry. I trust you to handle it. You've heard Sophie talk to her associates before. It's always the same. Generalities and vague suggestions. Makes you think she's involved in mysterious machinations, yet doesn't tell you anything. Sophie's dressed to kill, but there's nothing unusual in that. She likes to make an impression. A black car with tinted windows is waiting for her in front of the door. A chauffeur steps out to open the car door for her. Sophie notices you. I'm glad you're in the neighborhood. If you could look around for me one more time, that would be wonderful. You told me you'd gotten rid of that reporter. Turns out he's still here, snooping around. Sophie is very good at communicating disappointment. She doesn't have to do much to make it clear that she's unhappy to have to return to this issue. I'll take care of it. After tonight, he won't trouble you anymore. Good. Don't disappoint me. The reporter talked his way into the building. During the day, once the doorman understood what was happening, he threw the reporter out. He showed old pictures of me to my neighbors. It's very awkward, you understand. Sophie disappears into the car and the chauffeur closes the door behind her. You watch as the sleek vehicle disappears into the Manhattan traffic. Just one anonymous car among many. Best sit down somewhere and devise a plan of action. You go to a nearby diner, settle into a booth, and order a coffee from the steely-eyed Latino waitress as she brings you your cup. You describe Frank Daughtry to her on the off chance she's seen something. Just as she's about to answer, you happen to look outside. Something catches your eye. The diner is brightly lit, so you lean closer to the window to see the street through it. You got lucky. Frank is standing on the sidewalk on the other side of the street, looking at something on his phone. You slide out of the booth, throwing a few small bills on the table. Mumbling something to the waitress, you step outside. For a reporter, Frank isn't terribly observant. You keep your distance, hiding behind people and cars, but he doesn't look around. It seems like he wants to find a private nook to inspect the photos he took tonight. An alley. He ducks in and you follow. Oh god, it's you again. Please, I'm working on a different story, I swear. Frank retreats deeper into the alley. Don't worry, Frank. I know all about why you're here. You do? I mean... Okay, I'm sorry I tried to bullshit you. Just tell me how I can help you. I find it hard to believe that your bullshit is so interesting, your employer keeps sending you here again and again. A story is a story, I mean. Look, I don't want any trouble. I can see that you're serious. There's something to Sophie Langley. I think you know what it is. Take a long, hard look at Frank Daugherty. He's a tenacious man, but not brave. After the last time you met, you were sure he had been dealt with. Where did you find the courage to come here again? I like you, Frank. You don't give up. What's your real angle here? Everybody plays an angle. That's one of the things you learn in my profession. You're smart. You know that there will be others after me. If there's a real story, they will come and find it. Your best shot is with a friendly reporter. Someone you could trust. Someone like me. So what do you say? Get ahead of the story? It'll be good for you and Miss Langley, too. You almost believe it, but something about Frank feels off. Nah, I feel like he's being blackmailed. You've already sunk pretty low, Frank. But blackmail, that's rock bottom. You sure you want to go that far? No, I still have my pride. I've never done this work for money. It's a lifestyle, a calling. A calling to blackmail. I'm not collecting material for blackmail. Give it a rest. Sometimes I just need some extra money, that's all. Where does this extra money come from? There's a guy, he's paying me, that's all, but I can't talk about that. You use the powers of your blood to grant yourself incredible strength. You punch a wall to intimidate Frank. Your fist crashes into the wall, and you feel it crumbling, the splinters and the dust falling from the ruined hole. Screaming in primal fear, Frank turns and runs. He stumbles in panic, trying to move faster than his legs allow. You're pretty sure he won't be back, at least not of his own accord. Something in the power you display got to him. It feels good to use the power you have as one of the kindred. Still, you wonder whether it was a good idea to demonstrate your capabilities so brazenly. Well, you know, what else am I gonna do? I mean, I could have drained him dry, but like you said, there would have been another. I gotta work with what I got. I can't convince him to leave, because if he leaves, like you said, another one will just show up. Yeah, I know, but like you said, another one would have just showed up, so even if I killed him, what if another reporter came? It wouldn't have solved anything. So I took the off chance to, like, punch a wall. Like, if I had convinced him not to come, still, another one would have came anyways, so I just gotta see what I can work with. Obviously, it can be played against me. Like, maybe the correct thing was to drain him dry or convince him to not go there, because I wouldn't have to worry about the future because the game only lasts a certain length, you know? But I mean, I'm going off the fact that, like, the game's trying to mess with you, you know? I'm going off like, see, true, but if you only secure tomorrow, that's it. That could work, but I'm going off like, that's the choice you should do, but if you chose that, then the game's just gonna fuck with you and be like, aha. Of course, that could just be me walking into a trap, and this could be like, oh yeah, obviously you should have done that in the first place, you know? Because sometimes it has it set up to where like the obvious answer isn't always the best way, and then sometimes it has it set up to where the obvious answer is actually not the best way. And then sometimes it has it set up to where it makes you think you should choose that, so you do choose it, but you shouldn't. Or the vice versa. Sometimes it can be really confusing with these, especially with the Bloodlines games. Yeah, it definitely does. You arrive at the leech pit, finding it less rowdy than the last time. The bar is still packed, but the dance floor is empty tonight. Instead, the old crackling speakers are playing music that would probably sound like noise even on high-end hardware. Oh, I know, but I don't have any red blood around the screen. It shows like how low you are in blood with the screen, like the edges of the screen. I pretty much fed every single opportunity I could. Mia is nowhere to be seen, but you do remember she requests you ask for her at the bar. You approach the bar as the bartender finishes pouring a beer for an older guy in a faded, fraying Iron Maiden t-shirt. She turns to you. What can I get you? I was told to ask about Mia at the bar? Yeah? Well, she's not in tonight. She looks you up and down, and a spark of recollection shines in her eye. Oh yeah, that's right. She takes a well-worn book from behind the counter, some kind of vampire novel, and flips through it. She produces a piece of paper from between the book's pages and passes it to you. She told me you'd be interested in reading this. You find a relatively quiet corner and take a look at the note. T wants to meet you. I'll arrange it, but you need to prove you're trustworthy. Look around the leech pit for a guy named Bruce. Buff dude, tattoo sleeve on his right arm. I'm 90% sure he's somebody's retainer, sent here to spy on us by the cam. Give me the name of his master and write it on this card, then return it to the bar. It doesn't take you long to locate this Bruce guy. He sits alone in a corner, 2 beer glasses already empty on his table. You take a moment to consider your approach. The man immediately notices you, but doesn't move from his spot. The other seats are empty. When you focus the blood to boost your attractiveness, it's not just Bruce who notices. He's into you. So are other people, doing double takes as they pass your table. See, there you go. There's that blood that I was mentioning, showing up now. Hey, you. Have I seen you here before? Yeah, I was at the concert the other night. Oh yeah, I remember. Great to see you again. I know you're here because somebody asked you to spy on this place. It'd make me really happy if you gave me their name. What do you mean, Sam? He catches himself, realizes what you're doing. His eyes dart over your shoulder. You thought you had him cornered, but he suddenly leaps over the table in one smooth move and dashes through the sparse crowd. You catch up to him outside. He's bolting all right. Throwing caution to the wind, you focus your blood and give chase after Bruce. He might be faster than a human, but his abilities are a fraction of yours. He dashes into a nearby alley and you follow suit. Before he can jump the fence, you tackle him to the ground. A short brawl later, you are standing a few meters apart, Bruce eyeing you with hatred. I'm using a lot of blood here. You clash again, but this time you're not pulling any punches. Bruce's ribs crack. You dislocate his shoulder, break a few of his teeth. When you're done with him, he's a mess. Please! Oh fuck! No more, man, please! Ready to talk? Samira. Her name is Samira, okay? Just no more, please. You leave him there battered and alone. You should have talked when he had the chance. At least that's what you're telling yourself. as you make your way back to the leech pit. Time to leave something for Mia. You borrow a pen from the bar and flip Mia's note to the other side. Samira, you put the name down on the piece of paper, hoping you got it right. You heard it before, you think. Maybe that night at Elysium when the Anarch got executed. Yeah, that's it. It was the woman the prince talked to. She was pretty grim. Here's hoping it was all worth it and it won't come back to bite you in the ass. You pass the piece of paper to the bartender. She sticks it back in the same book. Hold on 1 second. She wanted me to pass something on to you. She produces a cell phone from behind the counter. It's ancient, at least 15 years out of date. Oh right, and this? An old charger for the piece of junk in your hand. They really did think of everything. She said she'll be in touch. Takes you a moment to remind yourself how to operate this thing, and you find that its phone book is blank. There's no Wi-Fi connectivity and no saved messages. It's got a version of Snake though. The bartender is already over at the other end of her domain, taking orders from patrons. With your Anarch contact nowhere in sight, you decide to move on for the night. Hopefully, your educated guess based on the scraps of info you collected will be enough for Mia to call you. The hunger calls to you. You find yourself among the tall buildings and sprawling streets of New York City and can't help but think of how rotten it all is. And the worst thing? You're part of the system. Suddenly, Sophie's patronage is revealed and you see it for what it is. Indentured servitude. She has control over your life now, and there's no good reason for it. The people you pass on the street look so smug. They think they're better than you. They're out to use you, exploit you, hurt you. You feel the need to assault anything with a pulse, and drink deep from their lifeblood. You compose yourself, your rational mind fearing a blatant breach of the Masquerade's temporary hold over the beast and its compulsions. It won't last unless you feed. You need to quench this hunger before it overtakes you and makes you lose control. Yes, I do! You're just leaving your haven when you notice a small note slipped under your door. You pick it up cautiously and fold it open. I know what you are. I know everything. Meet me at the Beautiful View Motel, where everyone else will know too. The note is signed, Frank. Cursing under your breath, you check the Beautiful View Motel. It's located in Queens. Getting there will take some time, and something in Frank's note suggests urgency. You run out of the apartment. Stepping into the Beautiful View Motel, you can't help but think that the name makes promises that the building fails to deliver. Outside, there's nothing but an ugly parking lot, empty, the paint marking the parking spaces almost completely worn away. Standing in the lobby, it feels like there's decades worth of stale cigarette smoke. You're happy not being able to breathe anymore. The furniture looks like it was picked up from a yard sale in the 60s. There's something appropriate in the grubbiness of the surroundings. They fit the image you have of Frank perfectly. It's appropriate to find him in a place like this. You nod to the old woman manning the reception desk. She seems totally uninterested in what you're doing, her eyes glued to the small TV perched on the desk. A cop show. Walking deeper into the motel, you find a lounge that might have aspired to a kind of lavish comfort in its glory days. Now it just feels like sticky, like you need to wash your clothes afterwards. Frank sits on a bar stool. There's no bartender, but Frank has a shot glass in his hand. He looks even sweatier than usual. What's up, asshole? How's it feel to not know everything? You stop and look at Frank a little closer. He seems drunk. Not a good sign. Despite everything in your earlier encounters, you maintained a baseline of professionalism. You're drunk, Frank. Sure, I'm drunk. Fucking hell. Frank's voice descends into incoherent muttering. You stop to consider what to do. You're not used to dealing with Frank in a mood like this. He seems more confident and depressed at the same time, as if he had a secret that gives him power, but also brought him down. Let's talk, Frank. You asked me to come here, so I'm guessing you have a proposal to make. Sure I do. I have friends, you know. I'm not just a nobody you can pick on. Your Sophie Langley is nothing compared to these guys. Frank sounds like he has plenty more bitterness inside him waiting to come out. Let me tell you something else. An ear-splitting sound fills the lounge, and a bright flash blinds you. For a second, an irritational panic grips your dead heart. Is this sunshine? They're going to burn to death in a cheap motel in Queens. As your vision adjusts, something whizzes past you. There's a series of thunking sounds, something impacting the bar. Frank is lifting the shot glass, miraculously still in his hand. A massive blood stain spreads across his shirt. For a bizarre, incongruous moment, you stare at the thing sticking out of Frank's chest. It's a crossbow bolt. Another two lie shattered next to the bar, having missed their targets. One missed you by a hair's breadth. Turning around, you see figures dressed in black, tactical gear storming into the room in eerie silence. Perhaps the flashbang damaged your ears. They drop their tactical crossbows and lift up rifles. Who comes prepared with a crossbow? Frank slumps to the floor. A wooden crossbow bolt will paralyze a vampire, but struck through a human heart, it kills. The scent of blood fills the air. Let's fight. Why not? You are a creature of the night. These attackers can't do anything to hurt you. You'll rip them apart. Fuck you! The attackers shoot at you, even as you shout. Bullets rip into your body, tearing your internal organs apart. You stagger for a second before launching yourself at the man in front. You grapple him, trying to bite at his neck. To your surprise, your teeth clink into metal. Damn it! I wanted to fight. This isn't gonna end well, is it? He appears to be wearing some kind of special protective device on his neck. Another attacker hits you in the back with the butt of her rifle. It hurts and something breaks. You hope it wasn't important as you stagger back, feeling your incisors with your tongue. One is broken from the force of your mangled bite. This was a very bad idea. The attackers all have identical tactical helmets. The expressions remain invisible under the hard plastic, but you know what they'll do. Shoot you until you die. Vampire, no vampire. The man you tried to bite had a neck guard. It reveals something very uncomfortable about how prepared they are, but also tells you they're scared. You screech, spit blood, and raise your hands as if you had claws, all the while making yourself as daunting as possible with your powers. For a moment, the attackers seem affected by your display. Few of them cower, giving you space to dash across the room. You can hear one calling for backup in a shrill voice. You crash through the plastic sheeting covering a broken window as the attackers regain composure and more shots pierce your body. Rising to your feet, you realize that your mangled left arm isn't really working anymore. More bullets ricochet off the ground. There are 4 SUVs parked by the motel's front door, all black with tinted windows. A man and a woman, middle-aged, dressed like detectives, look at you in surprise as you run past them bloodied and broken. One tries to yell something as you stumble to your car, painfully wrench the door open, and turn the ignition. For a terrifying moment, you fumble with the keys, but then the car starts, and you floor it, careening onto the highway. You only really feel safe once you reach your haven. You take off your clothes, watch in the mirror as your undead body blood starts to heal your wounds. It's an amazing sight. One thing is clear, you almost died. Any human would have been killed from the wounds you sustained. Still here, wondering what to wear before you head out to meet Sophie. You run into Sophie's building, ravenously hungry from mending your body. The doorman looks at you anxiously as you dash past, unconsciously sensing your bestial nature. You pound on the door of Sophie's apartment. Yeah, I do, don't I? More for the sake of your own nerves than because you think it's any help. After a few moments, Sophie herself opens the door and looks at you in surprise. She doesn't have her makeup on, and her hair is disheveled. You've caught her on a night off. What happened to you? As you step into the apartment and follow Sophie to her living room, you see the remains of a party. Empty glasses, a faint smell of blood in the air. You have no time to contemplate Sophie's social life, however. We're being hunted. We're all going to die! Freak out. Sometimes I regret taking you under my wing. If you don't calm down, I'll feed you to whoever is after me. Well, damn, fuck her. Hey, what's up, vocation? Sit down and stay calm. I'll check whether this apartment is still secure. You sit down suddenly, conscious of the vast gulf in experience between you and Sophie. She's managed to stay alive for a very long time and knows how to survive. You only hope that you'll survive along with her. For the next hour or so, you sit on Sophie's sofa, answering minute questions about Frank and the commandos who assaulted you. At intervals, she makes murmuring phone calls to mysterious contacts. After a longer while, Sophie lets you go. You should be safe, and more importantly, I should be safe too. I've taken measures to secure both of our havens, but keep your eyes open nonetheless. You leave Sophie's apartment wondering whether you'd survive another ambush like this. Because I choose to stream because I enjoy it? Everybody's gotta start somewhere, Vocation. I need a rest, yeah. Man, I wish I'd have more too. A piece of paper is sticking out of your mailbox. It's a computer printout, a note and a screenshot from Google Maps. It reads, "Meet me at the indicated spot tomorrow at 10 p.m. I'll pick you up and we'll take it from there." No signature. Place marked on the map is the lookout point near Pier 1, just next to the Brooklyn Bridge. You check the phone that Mia passed on to you. No new messages, no missed calls. It's all a bit fishy, but there's only one way to find out who addressed this to you. Invite some friends. Looks like tomorrow evening has been planned out for you. The plan was to return to your haven for the day. The sun is coming up soon after all, but that's not what the beast has in store for you. The feeling of emptiness, the overwhelming famishment that takes hold of you cannot be denied or bargained with. The time when you could reason with your thirst is over. Just scroll down to the games categories, search for gamers. Has 0 views and saw you. Well, I'm glad that you decided to stop by. Appreciate you deciding to hang out. You don't remember how it happens exactly, but you find yourself in an alley, sucking the last drops of blood from the savage gash in a corpse's neck. You have killed somebody tonight, and did it very close to your haven. Any attempts at covering up this poor soul's death became secondary when you realize that the dull glow over the city in the east is the sun coming up. You barely make it back to your haven in time. You realize your clothes are a mess, torn in places, covered in blood, your victim's blood. How many people saw you get into the building? You don't know. Okay, you have a nice day. It was a panicked sprint to escape the light, instinct saving your skin. The same instinct that decided it was time to feed the beast. You cannot let this happen again. You cannot ignore the hunger for as long as you did before tonight. Damn! I wonder if that, like, has now, like, made it to where we can't get an ending where we can live now or something. Because we killed somebody already. Your humanity depends on it. You go downstairs as soon as you wake up. One more glance at the phone, but no news from Mia. You take the car down to Brooklyn, park on the front street, and approach the meeting spot cautiously. A figure of about Mia's size is standing there, dressed in an oversized jacket, and looking out toward Manhattan. As you approach, you can hear her muttering something. Is it true? But I don't think it's true. If I do not think it's true, then it cannot be true. And if it cannot be true, then... Hey, you're the one who left a note at my apartment. The woman turns around. It's not Mia. Whoever it is, you've never seen her before. She looks perfectly plain and unmemorable. The ink on the paper did... Wait, the ink on the paper did the message leave. The ink on the paper did the message... Did your face here bring? Ah, it's another McKelvian. Okay, that's why. You turn around. Crewmen, all of them burly and threatening, approach you. One of them takes the lead. Poor slave is going to drain the world dry from the Second Inquisition. Hey! I don't want to die from the Second Inquisition. So, you got the message. I did. What now? Now you come with us. The boss wants to meet you. What does Kaiser want this time? Kaiser, no, you stupid piece of shit. Boss Callahan. Damn it, I thought it was Callahan. I just didn't want to say it because I thought I'd get in trouble. I suggest you get a move on. We've got places to be. The voice of the woman keeps creeping into your consciousness. The litany of gibberish ever present throughout this entire conversation. Man cracks his knuckles. Or we could do it the hard way. Why not? Yeah, okay, I'll go with you. Smart. They lead you down to the pier and onto a motorboat. The engine starts. Put this on. Points to a cloth sack. One of the guys is holding you down. The woman is still there, whispering to herself. Somehow you hear her voice clearly in your head. It becomes a nagging suggestion to put the sack over your head. You don't really want to do it, but your hands go through the motions all the same. It takes 15 or so minutes to reach your destination, you think. The engine dies down and you are led on shore, and then further, up an incline and through some overgrowth. 10 more minutes of walking, maybe, until a deep voice reaches your ears. Vincent, my dear boy, why the hood over our guest's face? Well, boss, I thought... No, 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 that will not do. How many times do I have to repeat myself, Vincent? You don't have to think, you have to listen and do what you're told, yes? Yes, boss. Well, take that ridiculous sack off their head, will you? Yeah, exactly. Nothing like being blinded and brought somewhere. The hood comes off. The owner of the deep voice is a curious sight, dressed in what can only be described as Victorian clothing, with a monocle and graying red hair. Is this Callahan? Apologies for Vincent's unacceptable behavior. He can be a little thick sometimes. Isn't that right, Vincent? Yeah, boss. Sometimes a little. I believe you already know who I am. Your boss Callahan. Right you are, and I'm guessing you know my role in this city. I represent the Anarch movement, while you... I'm not quite sure what you represent. I've invited you here to find out. Now let me make myself perfectly clear. I'm disappointed in you. Truly disappointed, but I arranged this meeting to allow you to make amends. First, though, I have to make sure you understand what your infraction was. So, do you know why you're here? I can't help but feel like you're dying to tell me. Don't get smart with me. He takes your face in his hand, while Vince holds you in a tight grip. He squeezes hard and looks you deep in the eyes. Torque is the reason you're here, or that little angry stumps of his. I'm told yes? Mia. Oh, how I'd love to get my hands on her gaunt neck and wring it until it breaks. But see, I'm a statesman. That's not the prudent thing to do. No, indeed, the prudent thing to do is tolerate both her and that blasted ebony-skinned mentor of hers. Look at what the world has become these nights. Here I am lambasting a black man and a woman in front of a whelp of Asian descent. My papa, rest his soul, would not believe it. Oh, you know, because he came from that time period. Yeah. Finished with your disgusting rant? Oh, fledgling, you have no idea who you're messing with. He looks at you with rage in his eyes, and you feel insignificant and vulnerable. An irrational fear takes over you. You cannot speak up against this man again. You just can't. He's too terrifying. Now that I have your full attention, I will request something from you, and you will obey me to the letter. But that comes later. First, you will answer a few questions. The first of which is, who pointed you to Mia? Nobody. It was my idea. Oh, really? And what was your intention behind the meeting? I needed her help with something. Oh, come now. You'll have to be more specific than that. I need to know exactly what it was that you discussed. I just wanted to learn about the Anarchs, so I asked her about the movement. Oh, child. You should have come to me then. I am the Anarch movement in the New York City, and nobody makes a secret out of it. You bet on the wrong horse, as I'm sure you'll soon learn. See, that wasn't hard now, was it? Of course, I can't be sure how much of what you told me was true, and how much of it is worth about as much as yesterday's night's horse shit. But I'll find out. I always do. When I do, we'll have another one of these nice talks, and maybe, just maybe, you'll avoid this upcoming unpleasant episode next time. He gives Vince a sign, and the burly man starts hitting you all over. You feel teeth, ribs, and fingers break. Your foot is mangled under Vince's boot. Your shoulder dislocated, your nose wrecked. That's enough, Vincent. Leave them be. He snaps his fingers in front of your face a few times and checks if you can focus on his face. You can, but barely. I'm a man of principle. Another night, I would perhaps put you in a casket, dip it in concrete, and dump it in the Hudson. A favorite of mine during the Roaring 20s. It's been a while now. But like I mentioned before, I'm nothing but prudent, and so the interests of this city's kindred must come before my own needs and wants. I will therefore let you continue your existence. Here's what I require in return for this boon. You are forbidden to meet Torque. I'll keep an eye on you, on him. If you want a place with the Anarchs, you go through me and only me, got it? You have to understand what I made my associates do to you tonight was just business. We can still work out a mutually beneficial relationship. In fact, it's either that or your final death. Time to go, Vincent. Take the boat back. Leave the fledgling here. I think they have a lot to think about. Sure thing, boss. Pleasure making your acquaintance. Callahan walks away, as do Vince and his band of thugs. You lie on the ground for a while longer, feeling the blood slowly putting your body back together, your hunger growing. You can hear the beast calling, for sustenance, for safety, for revenge, a distant but pronounced third desire. It's not until you mend yourself enough to appear more as a mugging victim than an impossibly mangled walking cadaver that you hail a passing taxi passing, and head back to your haven. The whole way there, you are tempted by the beast. Your driver, a 30-something with a strong Slavic accent and an unpronounced name on his ID, keeps asking if he should drive you to the hospital. You keep declining, all the while thinking that if you only asked him to pull over for 5 minutes, you could feast on his warm blood to the beast's content. Drink him whole. Nobody would know. Nobody but his wife and kids, if he has them. Nobody but his boss and coworkers. Nobody but you, as you looked in the mirror tomorrow. Keeping your hunger at bay was never before as difficult as it is tonight. The driver stops at your apartment. Building, there is no one around. You could do it. Do it now. Now. You pay the driver and walk out, fast, leaving the car behind. Don't look back. Look back, walk back, feed. No. Through the door, up the stairs, key in the lock, open the apartment. Walk in, lock yourself in. The familiar four walls of your haven are a blessing. The beast inside you keeps nagging, but you kept it at bay tonight. Not a small feat, given your state. You are still weak, still not quite mended. You need to rest. Tomorrow you'll have to feed again. Tomorrow you'll have to consider your next move. Callahan is not the kind of man who quits, but tonight you rest. Well, damn. Waking up tonight feels different for two reasons. For one, you were pleasantly surprised that your body mended reasonably well while you were resting. Comes with a caveat though. The hunger you feel is pronounced, the beast like a black dog on the edge of your vision, following you. But what is truly remarkable is waking up to the tune of an old cell phone ringtone. An unknown number is calling the phone you got from Mia. You pick up. Kept that old thing charged after all, huh? You alright? No, actually I feel like shit. Look, that's too bad, but I don't really care. I was just being polite. I'm calling with good news. Torque has agreed to meet you. There's a pub in the Bronx, Solids and Stripes. Be there tonight. Two things. No drinking on the premises, so if you want to grab a snack, do it before setting foot in the borough. And this is an exclusively no powers meeting. We'll be rubbing shoulders with commoners the whole evening, and also we don't trust you, so keep it casual or you'll blow it. Anything you'd like to add? Yeah, I met Callahan yesterday. He kicked my ass and forbid me from meeting Torque. Not sure I should be there tonight. Silence on the line. Fuck! More silence. I can't promise you any protection on your way there or back, but at the pub you'll be in Torque's domain. For all his posturing, Callahan doesn't have the balls to strike Torque directly. We'll post additional lookouts on watch. That's the best I can do. Callahan got under your skin, I get it. I was in that spot once or twice too. All I've got to say is, the risk is worth it. If you don't show tonight, I won't blame you, but it's a once-in-a-lifetime offer only. You gotta hedge your bets, just don't do anything stupid. You meet with us tonight, it's better be in good faith. She ends the call. First things first, you take the subway to York Street Station, walk to the front street, retrieve your car, and weigh your options while driving back to your haven. You've been doing this for a good few nights. You're getting a feel for it. You're learning what kind of predator you are and what kind of blood you crave. You're so caught up in yesterday's problems, and in this cloak and dagger debacle, you're now part of that the hunt feels almost automatic and casual tonight. A fragment of you surrenders control. Just minutes after you find your victim, coax them and drink from them, you find you've forgotten their face and how they were dressed. It only hits you once you look at yourself in your car's rearview mirror. This was wrong. You can't let this become the norm. You hurt somebody, a human being. You're a monster. You need to stay mindful of this. You're a monster, but unless you let yourself off the hook, you can hold on to your humanity and not let yourself slide down this spiral. Instead of clearing your mind, this clouded it further, and you are still no closer to a decision. You do intend to visit Torque tonight, but you decide to drive around a bit first. Something tells you there might be somebody tailing you. Sounds sensible to try and lose them. Spend a good 2 hours looking in your rearview mirror and driving all over the city before finally driving to the Bronx. You take some basic precautions as you enter Torque's turf. Park a few streets over from where the pub is and walk towards it while keeping an eye out for anyone suspicious. The kindred, for the most part, look no different than regular people. Makes things complicated, of course. If you're being followed or watched, it's going to be hard to tell. You reach the pub, shoot a final glance around. There's nobody suspicious around, for as far as you can see, and open the door. There we go. There we go, guys. So this is where I'm gonna end this episode. Seems like a good cliffhanger to put it at. I don't know why everything was acting up so crazily there. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, or follow, depending on the platform you're watching this on. And I will continue this in the next part tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, like I always do. You can also join the Discord with the link below and become a Patreon member or donate with the link below for Patreon. Obviously, it's optional, but either way, I greatly appreciate it. Now, for a little bit of a cut between to explain how I feel about this episode and how far we've gotten. I don't know. I don't really feel like I'm going to be having a good ending now. It seems like since the first second that I killed somebody because of the losing control, that I kind of lost my chance to have an ending where I live, unfortunately. That's sad because I want to live. And also, I feel that even if somehow, like, say there was a chance I worked for Callahan, I'd die. I feel if I stick with Sophie Langley, it's just gonna be another, what was his name? LaCroix, where at the end I get betrayed or I get killed by her or something. So, I don't know. I don't know. I feel maybe my chances is either sticking with Langley or Torque. I don't know. I'm wondering if I'm even gonna get a chance to decide or choose who I want to stick with. Maybe even run away. Who knows? I don't know what's gonna happen. We'll have to see, though. I definitely think that at this point, my endings are pretty low. downside to this game is that you always have the same final ending unless you die before the end. Wait, are you saying like there's only one ending? You die before that. Oh, okay. So you're saying that you can only you could die obviously before the end of the game, or the end, or you make it to the end, the final end, and there's only one final ending. You just have like different experiences on the way to this ending, is what you're saying? I mean, obviously hashtag no spoilers, but is there only one ending? I would assume that there was multiple different endings, like full endings, like you reach the end and there's multiple different actual endings. Aw, that's sad. That's saddening. Well, that's a little bit disappointing. I mean, I like having multiple endings, but I mean, we'll see. Maybe I like the ending. Yeah, maybe I like the ending. We'll see. But anyways, guys, thanks for stopping by. It was cool hanging out with you. I think I may possibly be playing Rainbow Six Siege later today. We'll see. I thought I was yesterday, which is the reason why I didn't, is because we weren't. So we'll see. It's not a promise, but come back in like an hour, half hour, maybe. I don't know. Just keep an eye out. See if I start streaming. If I do, you'll see me there. Yeah, I saw them talking about downloadable content. It's a thing that they're debating about. But as I said, this is where I go. Catch you all later. Matthew, thanks for chilling with me the entire time. It was cool. For all those of you guys who are watching after, thank you. And I'll look forward to your comments.